Hi everyone, welcome back for another scrapbook process video. This is another layout that I did at the crop that I was at, and I went to the crop with my friend Terry, and she is a close to my heart consultant, and I had placed a small order through her, and she had brought the order to the crop. And one of the things that I had ordered is one of their new idea books, and their idea books are called Make It From the Heart. And you can see it there on the left. This year they made it so that you could order the idea book and then I believe it's like an 8x6 album that you could put it in, or you could put it in any kind of 8x6 album or any album that you had. But the papers are really thick and sturdy, and they're kind of coated so that if you were to get a little bit of adhesive or something on there, it should easily wipe off. But anyways, I figured since I had that there that I would go ahead and give it a try. And the sketch in the book actually calls for, I believe, only 9 photos, but I'm going to get 14 photos on my layout. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to use another close to my heart product here in a little while, and they are called flip flaps. And if you have not heard of them, then you might fall in love. Just a warning. But I will talk about those in a little while. So here I am just trying to figure out, because I did have so many extra photos. My original plan was to cut them and put them in a different spot on the left-hand side of the page, but I ended up this is when I decided that I would just use the flip flaps. So there is the flip flaps there, and there is all different kinds of sizes. They have 4x6, 5x7, 6x12, and I believe some smaller ones, like maybe 2x3 or maybe 3x4, excuse me, and 4x4. I'm not exactly sure, but excuse me. So I will leave a link below anyways. And if you would like me to do a more detailed video on flip flaps and maybe show some layouts that I've done in the past with the flip flaps, then please feel free to leave me a comment below and I can show you a little bit more detailed video about them. So I'm going to go ahead and trim out this 4x6 card, and I'm going to mount 2 photos on this. I'm not going to do them now. I'm just making sure that the photos will fit on this, and then when I work with the 4x6 flip flaps, I will go ahead and glue those down. But I just wanted to make sure that they would fit on this 4x6 card. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm just going to set that to the side. And now I'm going to decide my pattern papers, and I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking, because I only needed 2 different pattern papers, actually 3 with the stripe, but I only needed 2, and I cut down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I cut them all to the wrong size, so I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking. It wasn't even lunchtime at the crop yet, so maybe that's the problem though, is that I needed to eat lunch, right? So I'm picking out the papers now, and the ones that I'm going to decide or end up using are that polka dot one, that blue pattern paper one, and the striped one. And I even cut down the green one, and I don't even know why I cut that one down, because I didn't even want to use that one. But what I'm doing here is cutting them to 6x12, and really what they should be is 3x12. So when I go to put them on the layout, I'll realize that, and I'll just cut one of these 6x12 ones in half, and they will be 3x12. So it's an easy fix. So the cutter I'm using is one I've had for a little while. It's a Tonic Studios cutter, and of course it's a guillotine cutter, so it cuts really well. Guillotine cutters usually cut really great. And I love that it's a full 12 inches down, and they have this little handle that you can either keep always stored on the cutter, or it stores underneath. And I was just taking it on and off because I was at the crop. I was limited on space. So you will see me here, right here. It just comes right off and flips right in. The handle part that sticks out, you can also keep underneath too. So it's a great trimmer for taking to crops. I found when I was using the Fiskars ones, and I love Fiskars products. I think they are one of the best customer service companies ever, but the little blades that you have to replace, I was going through those so much that those things are not cheap. So I wanted to try out a cutter that I didn't have to replace the blades so much on. And this cutter seems to work fairly well, although I did notice, and I don't know if it was me or the cutter towards the end of the crop, that it would cut straight most of the way until it got towards the end of the cut, and then it seemed to go a little crooked. So I will play with it a little more, and I can't really say if I like it at this point or not, but yeah, that's what that cutter is, in case you were wondering. So you just saw me figure out that I needed to cut the strips down a little bit more. So they are all now cut to 3 by 12. And I'm going to place one along the top, that would be the polka dot one, and one along the bottom, the blue one. And I'm not going to ink the edges this time around. Again, they are just these really pretty pastel colors that I just didn't think they needed inking. So I also cut a 12 by 12 white cardstock in half, and the reason for that is you will see me here in just a moment. Since these pattern papers are on top of the white cardstock, they are raised up just slightly, and it could just be my OCD. I'm sure it would be fine without them, but when I go to put this 4 by 6 photo on the left page, it wouldn't lay completely in between real nicely, and it just kind of was sticking up on one side. So I decided just to make everything flush, I would add in right here. You can see me add the 6 by 12 white cardstock. And I was a little bit hesitant because, you know, I go through so much white cardstock, I didn't want to waste it, but I knew I would like the layout better if I did it. So I just said, let's just go ahead and do it. I already cut it down, so might as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue the 6 by 12 white cardstocks into both sides. And again, I am doing Easter photos from 2014 with our kids. With my kids. This time we are coloring the Easter eggs. And again, I'm using Doodlebug Spring Things and Easter Express. And I'm going to glue this striped pattern paper down along the tops of the blue pattern papers. And so I'm going to use my scrappy tape, which if you've been watching my videos, you know that I like to use the scrappy tape for smaller strips of paper. And I've also found that when you put the glue onto your layout instead of onto the scrap of paper, it actually helps in getting it straighter also. So I don't know why, I enjoy doing it that way so much better. So I'm just going to get the right hand one down. And and here's where I'm going to, you know me, if you've also been watching my videos, I like to work one side at a time, at least until I get to the embellishment parts. So when I placed the 4 by 6 photo on the left, I decided that it needed to stand out just a little bit more. So I am now looking for a pattern paper that I could mount it on. And I'm going to cut this, well, I have to cut a different green one because it has bunny heads on it, so I didn't want to use the scrap because I didn't want the bunny heads to be going the wrong way. So I'm just going to eyeball it here and make it a little bit larger than 4 by 6. I didn't really measure, I just made sure it was bigger than the 4 by 6, so that is going to go there. And I really like the green. I thought that he's wearing a green shirt that's almost the same color, so I thought that really helped that picture pop. So I do apologize in this video. I had some trouble editing it. I don't know why, but every part that I tried to cut out wouldn't get cut out, and the parts that I didn't want cut out would. So in the end, when I put all my clusters together, a lot of that kind of got cut out, but you will see how they turn out. So I'm going to mount this photo on white cardstock just to help it stand out a little bit more from the pattern paper. And I'm just going to get the edges straight there, and I'm just using a scrap piece of white cardstock. So now I'm going to glue that onto the green photo paper, or not photo paper, photo mat. And here's where I'm going to take it and decide that I'm ready just to work on one side. So I'm going to put that one to the side, move this one to the middle, and I'm just going to use my T-square ruler to get it straight. Sorry, I had to have a drink of coffee because my voice is very crackly this morning. Not sure why it's so crackly this morning. I hope it's not annoying. But so the sketch also called for 6 2x2 squares on this side of the page. And I decided, since I had the 6x6 pad, it had these 2x2 squares. So I would just cut those out and use those. And I really like how that looks. I am going to struggle a little bit though. I cut out the part of me cutting all the papers up so you wouldn't have to watch that. So I found these Polaroid frames when I was going through the die cut box, and I really liked the Polaroid frame, the look on these 2x2 photos. They are slightly bigger than the 2x2 size, so the two rows won't exactly line up, but that doesn't bother me because it looks really cute. So here what I'm struggling with is I have that pink frame and also that pink 2x2 card, and it was just too much pink together. So I knew there was another Polaroid frame, which I'm trying right here, and it's kind of a coral type color. And coral sounds like that coral from Walking Dead. Coral. Sorry, I just thought that was funny. Anyways, I didn't like that coral one, and so I went back to the pink, and I thought maybe I would flip that 2x2 card over, but I didn't like the stripes. The stripes were just too busy. So now I'm going to look through my die cuts and my pattern papers and see if there's possibly anything else that I could cut down to put there. But I didn't really find anything else that I liked. All the pattern papers were too busy, and I didn't want to fill it with die cuts. It just didn't fill it. It didn't seem to fit. So I'm going to go back to the striped pattern paper piece, but I'm still just not liking it. So I'm going to keep looking. Excuse me. So what I'm going to find is actually another cut apart piece from the 6x6 pad here, and I'm going to measure to make sure it's 2x2. And sure enough, this part that says hop, hop, hop will fit perfectly and cut down to 2x2 perfectly. So I was very happy with that. So instead of that pattern paper striped piece, I'm going to put the hop, hop, hop. So that is how they are going to lay. And I am going to cut out the part of me gluing all these down because those Polaroid frames gave me a little bit of trouble. So here is the right side of the page, and I'm going to do basically 3 4x6 photos down this side of the page. But here is where I'm going to use the flip flaps. So flip flaps are basically like mini page protectors that you can glue anywhere on your actual page protector. You can see in the video there is like a white stripe on them, and that is an adhesive strip, and the adhesive strip is very strong. Make sure you know where you want it to go before you place it down, because once it's down, it's down. So I'm going to figure out which photos I want to go on the top, and go ahead and you just slide your pictures in, or whatever it is you want to go in the flip flap. You can see me doing that there. I'm just getting them straight so that there's no lines or white pieces showing behind them, making sure they're all facing the right way. And then I'm going to add a couple pictures to this one. And then you're going to see me take off the adhesive strip on one of them and place them together. And right here, I'm just going to show you how that is how it will lay on the page protector. And when somebody's going through your album, they can flip through it just like it's a little mini book in your album. So right now, because I didn't have a picture to put behind it, I'm going to cut down this 4x6 card, and it's going to go in the very back of all those 4x6 flip flaps. So it's going to go right there. And if you would like me to do a more detailed video on flip flaps, can't remember if I said this in the beginning of this video or not, but see, there you go. That is just what it will look like. You will just flip it open, and then they're really great. Like I said, if you want a more detailed video, leave me a comment below, and maybe I can do a little bit better video explaining them. I will leave a link in the comments below for them. I'm not affiliated with the link. It is my friend Terry's Close to My Heart page, so she will benefit from it if you order, but I personally am not affiliated with the link. So now I'm just looking around, and I had this 4x6 card, and that space on the right was in the sketch had journaling there, and that was my original plan, was to put journaling there. But when I found this hippity hoppity Easter's on its way, I really liked it because we're coloring eggs and Easter's coming, so I really liked that there. I thought that was really great. And I don't journal on this page because really we're just coloring eggs. It's pretty self-explanatory. So Excuse me, I don't know what's happening with my voice this morning. So I'm not too worried about not having journaling on here. And I have gone through the die cut box and taken out anything that I thought that might work. There was a bunch of these die cut eggs, and I wanted to try to get a lot of those on the layout. So I'm going to actually add these eggs. I'm actually going to end up only adding 3 over here to this right cluster and just covering up those bunny heads. Not that I didn't like the bunny heads, I just really wanted to use the eggs. So then there was also this Easter basket with eggs in it and the paintbrush, which I mentioned in the last video. I couldn't figure out why there would be a paintbrush. Well, we're coloring eggs now, so... So some of this gets cut out where I glue down some of these clusters. So I'm just going to explain what I have. So in this right cluster with the 3 eggs, I have the yellow and the blue one are just glued down. The middle polka dotted one I'm going to pop up with some foam tape. And then I found this sticker that says coloring eggs, and I thought that that would make a good title sticker. I struggled a little bit with where to put it, but my friend suggested I put it over the busyness in the background of that photo, so I thought that was really cute. That was a great idea. So I am going to pop dot just a part of it so that it will be even with the photo, since the photo has a couple layers of paper underneath it. It's up a little higher. So that is where that one is going to go. And I'm going to fiddle around with some eggs. I wanted to add a little bit more. So, and in this bottom cluster, I glued that Easter basket down. There's an Easter egg die cut, an Easter egg sticker, and a small paintbrush. I changed it from the blue to the pink. And I thought that kind of went because the pink egg is there. I don't know. I just decided to go with the pink. I tried adding this paintbrush to the right-hand side, but I just couldn't get it to work well, which is kind of a bummer. I really wanted to use those, but... I'm just looking around now to see if there's any more stickers or word phrases to use, and I'm going to use a tab up here in this top left cluster, and I'm also going to add a word sticker along there too in the top left cluster. I thought about using this word Easter, but it didn't stand out enough and it just didn't go. I'm just trying to use up a lot of the stickers in this collection. So now I'm going to get out my enamel, those beautiful enamel dots and shapes that you know that I love from this collection. So I like the bunny head in this cluster, but again, because the photo is raised a little higher, I'm just going to add a tiny bit of foam tape to both of the bunny's ears so that he's popped up and he's level and will stick on there and not fall off. So I got that one on there, and I'm just going to use this little word phrase that I'm going to use from one of the 6x6 cut apart sheets. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape to just the end part so that it's all level. And you will see me doing that in just a moment. I was just looking for any more word phrases I might want to use. Here's where I'm adding the foam tape to it. Just thin little tiny strips. And I like how that looks, and that will finish off that cluster. And I'm going to keep playing around, but there's not much more. I add a couple more carrot stickers down in front of the basket on the left, and then you saw me just add a sticker to the right, the cluster with the eggs. And tried to add another one of these bunny head stickers. I am going to add one of the bunny head stickers here in this right hand cluster, and again I'm going to add just a little bit of foam tape to part of the bunny head because that middle Easter egg is popped up, so I just wanted him to be stuck on there flat and even with the egg. So I did try to use some of these enamel dots, but I think that I didn't like it because of the polka dotted paper. It was just too much. I thought about adding those around, but I tried them at the top and the bottom, and I'm just going to say, I'm just going to not add enamel dots this time. If you can believe it, I did a layout with no enamel dots. So here's where I'm going to add the bunny head, and then after that I'm going to add my date, and that is going to be all for this layout. So I don't have close-ups at the end, but there is a photo of the finished layout, and I hope you guys like this layout. Again, please let me know if you would like a more detailed video about the flip-flaps. And I hope you guys, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my videos. This has been a lot of fun. I know I keep saying that, but I really enjoy all the great comments that you guys leave, and it's been a lot of fun. So Happy Thanksgiving week to all. Hello everyone, and welcome back for another scrapbook process video for you. This is another layout that